Welcome everyone. I hope you have already seen the output of today's video, right? I will simply show you all the procedure on how you can run macOS from your Linux machine. Before starting our procedure, I want to ensure some basic criteria for today's task. First of all, make sure that your storage system is on GPT and BIOS mode should be UEFI. It's also necessary that you are close to your power source because you don't want to lose your data during this procedure for load shedding or whatever it might be. All right. And another thing, make sure to keep almost 100 gigabyte in your storage only for this Mac OS. Another thing, we will use snap here, so I won't recommend this video or this procedure for those who are using Linux Mint on their system, because what's the issue, or you can say the relation between Linux Mint and snap, right? Now if you think that you have all the necessary things what I had told you earlier, then surely you are good to go, right? So first of all, I will install snap in my Linux machine. If you already have Snap installed in your Linux machine, then you don't need to do it again. But as for me, uh, as I am doing the full tutorial over this topic, so I'm gonna show you the procedure in installing Snap. Currently, I am using Linux Ubuntu operating system in this machine for setting up macOS. But obviously, you can follow this procedure in almost every Linux distro. But again, I won't suggest you to do it in Linux Mint. First of all, I will open my terminal and I will type sudo apt update. Now for installing Snap, I will simply type sudo apt install snap t. Okay. Now for your Linux machine, it might be possible that you have already installed Snap, but if you don't have Snap, it will install the Snap for you. After installing Snap, I will install a custom hello world to see if my Snap is working correctly or not. So I'll simply type sudo snap install hello-world. After hitting on enter, if it downloads the hello world from the stable channel and the work becomes successful, then you can be sure of that you have installed Snap in your Linux machine successfully. Okay. uh, like me, after hitting enter, I'm getting this message that it's downloading my Snap core from stable channel. After that, it will simply install it. Okay, you see, my machine has successfully installed Hello World, and it's getting output as hello-world 6.4 from canonical install. Okay, now my Linux machine is completely good to go to install Snap-based applications. Didn't I mention you earlier that I will use Sosumi here for installing Mac? It's basically a virtual machine, you can say that. I will run this virtual machine on my Linux machine, and from there I can run my macOS anytime I want. For installing Sosumi, simply type sudo snap install Sosumi. It will install Sosumi from Snap Store. Just give it some time to finish the installation process. Okay, Sosumi has been installed successfully in my Linux machine, as you can see here. And now I will simply search for Sosumi in my system and I will simply open it. After opening it, it will open in another terminal and it will install some basic packages or something it needs by itself. Don't exit this, and you need to wait for some time and let the task finish. Don't close this terminal. I repeat, don't close this terminal. It might take a while to install this process. After that, it will launch QEMU, from where we will install our macOS, we will run our macOS, and so on. Okay. Now, this is the user interface of QEMU, Clover, and we are getting some options here, right? You can shuffle these options simply by tapping on your arrow key from your keyboard, left arrow key and right arrow key. Okay. First of all, I need to install my macOS, so that's why I will select this boot macOS install from macOS base system, and I will simply hit on enter. After this, I'm getting a lot of process running here. Don't close it. I repeat, don't close it. Let it finish. Don't worry about this DMA failure or something like this. It won't cause you any problem in this uh, issue here, the task I'm going to do for you. I'm getting the loading icon here. Okay, now I have come to this part where I need to format my disk, but don't worry about it. It won't format or delete anything from your root machine, the machine you are currently working on. It will simply uh, delete or reset those files which we have already reserved for it in our system. You can think it as a virtual machine because it's actually that is. It won't delete the outside of the storage which we didn't give the access to it. Okay, it will only do the whole task inside that storage we have already provided it. Another thing, keep in mind that if you simply click on this QEMU, your mouse pointer would get stuck. But don't even worry about this because your mouse pointer just entered into graph. If you want to exit this graph section, simply click on Ctrl, Alt, and G. Your cursor pointer uh, would get exit from this graph. For now, I will simply select this disk utility and I will click on continue. And after this, I am getting 4 disks here. macOS base system 2.1, 2.01 gigabyte, block media, blah blah blah. Okay. Now, what I need to do, I need to select this Apple Inc. dot virtio block media. You can see the storage of it is 68.72 gigabyte. Okay, I need to select this disk and click on erase, and you can give any name you want. For now, I am giving it Mac HT, and for format, I am providing APFS. The scheme would remain the same as it was, and I'll click on erase. Okay, this storage has been erased successfully, and it has also mounted it again. The process has been completed successfully. Now done. Now I'll simply click on exit, and from the macOS utilities, now I will select reinstall macOS and click on continue. Okay, now we need to install our macOS. For now, we would install macOS Catalina, but don't worry about it. You can update it later from your macOS. All right. Now click on continue, click on agree, again click on agree. Now we need to select the disk which we have erased earlier, 68.51 gigabyte total and 68.39 gigabyte is available. All right. I'm gonna simply select this disk and click on install. Another thing, it will take a lot of time to install this process, although it is saying that it would need 23 to 35 minutes or so on, but trust me, it would need a lot of time than that. As per me, the spec of my current desktop machine is processor Ryzen 5 3500X, RAM is 16 gigabyte, and I own RX 550 4GB GDDR5 GPU. And it took me almost 45 minutes to finish the first process of this installation. So as I have already said you earlier that it would take a long time to complete this process. So I'm going to skip this part and I will take you to the next step. Now it would reboot itself, and in this screen, now as far as I can remember, I have already told you that you can navigate to these options through your arrow key from your keyboard. I mean, for now, I will select this boot macOS install from Mac HD. Mac HD is the name that I have given to my storage device in which storage I am installing my macOS. You guys should have remembered it, right? Don't skip any of this. Give it some time. Now the second step has been started. It should also take some time. It took almost 17 or 18 minutes in my case. I'm going to skip this part so that I can take you to the next step. Okay. Again, it rebooted itself. Again, I will select boot macOS from Mac HD, and after then, I'll simply hit on enter. Okay, now the welcome screen has appeared. I need to select the country. Suppose I'm selecting United States and then hit on next, continue. You can select any of this, but I would suggest to keep it to don't transfer any information now. Continue, and you can provide your Apple ID here, or if you want you can add this Apple ID later from your macOS also. If you don't have ID, you can also create it here, uh, and you can also do this task later on from your macOS. So as for me, I'll simply hit on setup later because I want to set it up later, not now. So I'm gonna skip this. Now terms and conditions, click on agree, agree. Now just give a name for your PC, full name, account name, and password. For now, I'm going to create some dummy password here. I'm just creating this system only to show you guys, nothing particular. It will simply create your account, and yeah, you can click on continue. But if you want to customize anything, then you can click on customize settings also. If you want, you can share your crash and usage data with app developers, and if you want, you can opt out from this also. Simple actually. You can enable Siri or you can disable Siri. It's completely your choice. I don't want to share any audio recordings now, so I'm selecting not now. But obviously, you can do the other way, right? Now you can simply choose your loop, whether you want light, dark, or auto. Anything you want. Obviously, you can change it later inside your macOS. It will set up your Mac. Uh, for this step, it won't take that much time. Okay, we have got our macOS here. As you can see, it's asking for keyboard setup assistant. For this part, I'm not sure whether you'd get this keyboard setup assistant error in your PC, but if you want, you can simply tap on key and follow the procedure which they have given in here, and you can solve that issue easily. I think I didn't face any problem in my keyboard or mouse uh, during the time I have used this macOS in my system. So yeah, this works. I'm getting a prompt of inserting a blank DVD. I can simply ignore it or eject it because I don't need it now. You see, they have already provided you the update. You can install it right now or you can do this thing later. Your choice actually. Okay, I'm selecting my keyboard type. Now this is your full-fledged macOS. Now you can sign in your Apple ID if you haven't done it already, like myself. If you don't have Apple ID, you can simply create it from here too. It's not any difficult task. As you can see, you can change any settings you want. You can change the mouse speed or anything. I mean, everything you want. Okay. Now you will see the display screen isn't that much great because it's displaying most probably 720 pixel resolution. But don't worry, you can change the resolution later. And another thing, your macOS is running on 2 GB RAM by default. You can also change the uh, RAM size later. I will show you how in this video. Don't worry about it. For now, I'm going to shut it down. Now, in this part, I'm going to customize my uh, RAM and display screen resolution for my macOS. For this, I have to go to my home directory and I need to go to Snap. From here, I need to go to Sosumi. I'll go to Common and I need to open this launch file. Before opening this file, make a copy of this file. as a backup, because if if you do something mistake here, you can simply revert to the backup file and save your system. I mean, macOS system. So I'm going to make a copy of this, and I'm going to rename it as backup copy. Okay, I'm keeping this as my backup file because if my original file, launch file, if I do some mistake here and such as my system isn't rebooting or my system is crashing down every time I'm opening it or something like that, what you can do, you can simply delete this launch file and you can rename this launch backup copy to simply launch, and it will work just as fine because this backup copy is the original launch copy which we have got from Sosumi itself. Okay, now open this launch file into any text editor. In line number 7 we are getting -m space 2g. Now this -m is indicating the memory. For us it is RAM, and 2G is indicating 2 gigabyte of RAM. Now you can change this as you want. Like if you want that you will use 4 gigabyte of RAM in your macOS, you can simply change 2 to 4. But keep in mind, don't give all your RAM and all your processor to your macOS, because your root machine, I mean that machine where you are installing your custom macOS, this root machine also needs RAM, processor, I mean resource power to operate the macOS. So if you give the entire resources of your root machine to this virtual machine, then your computer wouldn't be able to run the process successfully at all. So don't you give all your resources from your root to your virtual machine. Now in the line number 9, you see -smp space 4 comma cores equal to 2. It means that it is running on 4 thread and 2 core. Now you can change the core and thread as you want, but keep in mind that your core and thread, it has a ratio. Your thread should be double of your core, like this. It has 2 core, 2 multiplied to 4. It's using 4 thread like this. Now you can change this if you have that much of core or thread. I tried changing it from 2 core 4 thread to 3 core and 6 thread, but my machine didn't run because, as I have said you earlier, my current processor is Ryzen 5 3500X. I have only 6 core and 6 thread. If I try to give 6 thread here, then my root machine wouldn't be able to run the virtual machine. I tried to change it from here to 3 core and 6 threads, and that's why my machine didn't run. But if you have enough core and thread, you can try shuffling these two. What you can do, you can shuffle this RAM and core, and you can try starting your macOS. If that starts successfully, then you are good to go, and if that doesn't happen successfully, then you can simply change the file. And if you think that you have done something terribly wrong in this launch file that you can't resolve by yourself, then what you can do, we have our backup copy. Remember, you can simply delete this launch file and rename that backup launch file to simply launch. And before doing that, you can also create another backup of that file, because obviously you want to try experimenting on this, right? So during experimenting, some crashes or some dangerous thing might happen. By dangerous thing, uh, I'm indicating driver crash, display crash. By display, I'm indicating the display of virtual machine itself, not your uh, root machine's display. But whatever, it's always nice to have a backup copy, right? Because you can be sure of that if you mess something up very badly, you don't have to be worried about it anymore because you have your backup, right? Okay, now come to the point. I'm saving it here, and simply I will open my Sosumi again. Now keep in mind, if you want to run your macOS, you will need to run Sosumi. So you can keep Sosumi icon or program in your panel or favorite bar as you wish. And after clicking Sosumi, Sosumi will open a terminal and the macOS window, I mean virtual machine window. Don't close the terminal. Sosumi has opened itself because you are running your macOS or something like that. That's completely fine. But Sosumi is running the entire process in its terminal window. So if you close the terminal window that Sosumi has opened itself, your virtual machine will also close itself. Okay. So if you don't want to close your virtual machine, don't close the terminal. Sosumi has opened itself because it's doing all the process that you are doing background in its terminal. Alright, my QEMU panel has been opened. For each time I want to run my macOS, I will simply select boot macOS from Mac HD and click on enter. Okay guys, now I have showed you how you can customize the RAM size, processor and core thread. I mean, in the next step, I will show you how you can customize your resolution, because as of now, you can see that I'm getting only 720 pixel resolution here. But don't worry, you can change it as much as you want, but we need to customize something first. I'll tell you in the next step. Alright guys, now I will show you how you can change your resolution as you think as fit. Okay, first of all, I'm opening my macOS, and from there I'm opening my terminal in my macOS and simply type diskutil space list, hit on enter. Now find that partition which has EFI and size is almost like this, 101.4 megabyte. You can see that it's on slash dev slash disk1 internal, right? Keep in mind because we need this info later to change the resolution. Now in your case, you might see on in different disk system or something like that. Simply find that one, right? You can do that easily by uh, following this tutorial, right? Simply find any storage which has this partition, GYD partition scheme, size almost like this, EFI size is almost like this, and later on Linux file system size is almost same as this. Okay, now type sudo diskutil mount that disk path which I was mentioning you earlier. Like for me, it would be dev slash disk1, and the EFI system is on 1. So I'll simply type disk1 S1 because the serial number of EFI was 1. Then I'll hit on enter. The disk has been mounted. Now I will simply open my Finder in my macOS. From here, I will get an EFI disk has been mounted. This disk have been mounted earlier. You saw it, right? I mounted it through running some code, not code, some command in terminal. I will go to this storage drive EFI. and I will get an folder named as EFI. Simply go into the folder and go into Clover folder, and I will open this uh, config.plsit file through text edit here. Okay, I have opened this file. Now I need to edit something here. This has screen resolution here, and right now it's on 1280 into 720. I need to change this resolution to which resolution I want. FYI, when I recorded this video, I was on my old machine, which monitor was only 1360 uh, into 768 pixel. So I'm going to select it here, but obviously you will type that resolution that your monitor have. Like if you are on 1080p monitor, then your resolution should be 1920 into 1080 most probably, if I'm not mistaken. This is completely on you guys. You will type that resolution which you want. It's completely up to you. Normally, you should use that resolution, which resolution your root machine or root OS currently have. And after then, simply save this file. Okay. After saving this file, I'm closing everything here, and I will simply shut down my Mac OS. Now I'll open my Sosumi again. The QEMU window has been opened. I'm going to open the terminal. Sosumi has opened itself, and I'm going to tap on ESC, escape key, quickly. You need to do it quickly. Okay. Now simply type on this terminal the command I'm going to give you here, which is exit. Okay. Now you see our terminal and QEMU window has been appeared as the same. If you close the terminal or QEMU, it would close the other terminal or window also. So don't close any window. Alright. Now from my QEMU window, okay, you can see that my speed, I mean processor speed is currently 2 gigahertz. My RAM is currently 10 gigabyte. Okay. From QEMU window, go to device manager. You can navigate through here using your arrow key from your keyboard as usual, and from here go to DVMF platform configuration. Hit on enter. Now you see that I have something resolution type here in changed preferred section. Simply hit on enter and select the resolution you want. Like for me, I'm going to select 1366 into 768, which I had written earlier, if I'm not mistaken, in the config file from my macOS. And I'm going to hit on F10 save, press Y for saving, and you need to exit this window. Click on press escape and navigate to continue. Hit on enter. Okay. Now wait the system to reboot itself again. Simply navigate to boot macOS from macOS, hit on enter, and my macOS is starting itself. Okay, my macOS has been opened successfully, and you can see that I'm getting the resolution I want. I'm getting everything just as fine. I'm getting the resolution I want. Uh, well, most probably I have done a terrible mistake. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, I have written 1360 into 768 instead of 1366 into 768 in the config file from my Mac OS, which I did earlier. So that's why I'm getting that resolution here. Uh, it's not a problem because I have done mistakes here, but I guess you won't should do this type of mistake like me. Simply, you need to provide the same resolution in the config list and from in the boot menu, and it would be good to go. All right. Now, if I go to software update, I'm getting that uh, I can update my macOS Catalina to macOS Big Sur. And if I want to stay in this OS, which is macOS Catalina, I can simply update some software, security update, Safari update as usual. You can install it by clicking on install now, and you can, if you want to update your macOS to Big Sur, you can also do that. And from here you can sign into your Apple account if you haven't done that already. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed it, uh, that you can run Mac operating system from your current PC or machine, whatever you may call it, and then you can also change the RAM, core, processor, resolution which you want. But in this case, you can't bypass GPU acceleration or something like that, and that's why you won't get not more than 2 MB, most probably, if I'm not mistaken here. But please let me know. Do you want me to check on the system on however I can bypass or enable GPU acceleration so that we can get benefit from your discrete GPU also? If I would get enough response, then I would try to create another tutorial video on that too. But right now, I hope you can get your work done here. Another thing I'm going to remember you again, and that is if you want to enter into full screen, then you need to click on Ctrl Alt F. And if you want to take your cursor to graph or exit graph, then you need to click on Ctrl Alt G. So that's it for today. If you are new on this channel, I would recommend you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and so on. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.